I want to talk a little bit about the White Tigress practices because in this DVD we're using some of the techniques from that practice. I practiced as a White Tigress for about a year, and one of the premises, there's a lot to the practice, so I'm just speaking mostly about the oral sex aspects of it. But the belief is that your spirituality and your sexuality are tied together. And if you can't face directly your sexuality, is one of the quotes, then you will never understand and fully be able to go into your spirituality. That's from the White Tigress Manual, which was written a long time ago. And these are very ancient practices, which I'm not going to get into too much, but I just want to talk a little bit about how the practices may look on the outside, but what's really happening internally. And I can speak from my own experience. So when I first saw the oral sex practices and read about the White Tigress, I was very intrigued because of the idea of gaining spiritual enlightenment through them, but also the idea of rejuvenating and beautifying and staying young and youthful your whole life because of these practices. And there's more to it than just the oral sex piece, but that's the main piece. So there's diet and there's different exercises and movement of energy through your body, meditation. But in the oral sex tradition, there's a lot of things, like for example, we have a technique where you're really sucking deeply the penis and you're almost like gagging on it. And when I first heard about this technique and then saw it, I was like, oh my goodness. And it was this, like the instant thing that came up in me was that it's degrading to women. Or the technique where you're holding the back of the head and the man is holding her head and then circling his hips and grinding his penis into her mouth. And it's like, that's your traditional porn kind of degrading shot. In my head, this is what was coming up when I first learned these. And then I started thinking, well, maybe some guy just made this stuff up because he really liked oral sex. But as I learned more about the practice and I got more into the practice, it was very interesting to understand the premise of the practice being about really absorbing his essence, really allowing oral sex to be pleasurable and for you to really enjoy it so that it's as enjoyable for the woman as it is for the man. How enjoyable it is to have his penis inside of your mouth, deep in your throat. How enjoyable it is, especially around one of the practices is to actually have semen on your face. And you're meditating and you're drawing in, you're visualizing white light and you're drawing in his essence through his semen. We know that this is also beneficial. Semen has lots of wonderful proteins and minerals and things in it that are great for your skin. So by meditating on it, drawing it in, massaging it onto your skin and just letting it dry on your skin, it's a skin tightener. There's all kinds of really great stuff to it. And that practice I have found to be very beneficial to me and also helped me another level of shame, like overcoming, is this degrading to have his semen on my face? And then just to switch it, to frame it a little differently for yourself of noticing how warm it is, noticing how much you can love, if you love him, to love his fluid. How often are men not worshipped in this way? Like this is a way to worship your man, to really just allow his essence, his semen on your face and have it there and enjoying it and doing this for him and for yourself. So there's benefit for both of you in this practice. And so in that frame, in that light, that this is another way to love him and another way to love yourself. So these practices, and I really invite you to find out more. You can go to the book, The Sexual Teachings of the White Tigress by Sai Lai. And this is an amazing book. It has a lot of really great techniques and more about the practice. And this is a Taoist practice for rejuvenation and energy, sexual energy for women, the cultivation of that sexual energy. So look into it further. This is something, if you're very interested in, that can be a very powerful practice.